You're so big and strong!
Yes, Andy.
With the...
Andy.
Yes, Andy! Yes, Andy! Can't you say anything else?
No.
I love the dialogue in this game. So hello everyone, and welcome back to Rayman 3 HD on the Xbox 360. I'm One Wild Sheep yet again, and today, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to fight the final battle. This is the end game, ladies and gentlemen. We're at Reflux's final lair. We're at the final showdown. Let's pay him a visit and show him how it's done, shall we?
I told you I'd serve you Rayman on a platter! Bon appetit!
So there we are, welcome to the final boss battle against Reflux. First things first, what you're going to want to do is pick up a swingy swing power that is littered on the battlefield in order to electrocute his force field and get rid of it, in order for you to be able to actively punch him. Then once his force field's disappeared, grab hold of the punchy punch power, run up to him and punch him right in his ugly gob. And seriously, he looks really deformed right now. He looks... I don't know what happened to him. But anyway, just rinse and repeat this, and that's basically all this boss fight is for the most part. Now, whenever you are attacking him, what I recommend is move in either a clockwise or counterclockwise motion, as you can see me doing, because that will allow all his energy blasts to simply go around you harmlessly, and including his thunderbolts from the sky. The thunderbolts from the heavens above will clip you, because they go basically where you're heading and not where you are. So what I recommend is just manipulate this as best you can in order to just try and take him out, actually. Now, one thing I have to say as well, I'm making this boss fight look pretty easy. This is actually a really challenging boss battle for those of you who don't know how to manipulate his AI. Like I said, I know how to manipulate his AI, because it's as simple as rotating the analog stick, and basically all his attacks will miss you, but... trust me, the first time playing this level, the first time playing this boss fight, you will not know how to do this, you will not know the best way to take this guy down, and it will be an absolute pain in your backside. I'm gonna be perfectly honest, it was a pain in my backside. In fact, for the longest time when I first got hold of the game, I wasn't even able to finish this boss fight. You know, I wasn't able to beat him because I didn't realize how to manipulate his attacks. I couldn't figure out how to manipulate his AI, but now that I do, it's all easy peasy lemon squeezy. And this boss fight is actually split up into 3 separate phases. The first phase, as you can tell, is just what we're seeing right now. You just get rid of the force field, punch him in the face, easy peasy lemon squeezy. It's as simple as that. However, once we're done, we'll move on to the second phase, which is probably the hardest phase in the entire boss, so, yeah. Jesus Christ, that really is a face that only a mother can love. Anyway, for the second phase of the boss fight, we're stuck on this 2-dimensional kind of plane, where he's going to have one of 2 attacks he's going to attack at you with. Basically, he's either going to pound the floor with his fist, which will send you flying in the air, or he's going to do a side swipe that will send you either backwards or forwards in whatever direction he's actually swiping in. And whenever he's pounding the ground, basically, if you're touching the ground, when his fist collides, you will be sent into the air. This will allow him to do a triple slash at you, which does massive damage. I would advise just jumping whenever you see him lift his arm in the air. And it's actually a pretty easy phase for the most part once you've mastered the controls. But if you haven't mastered the controls, if you're not very good at controlling Rayman, this boss fight will give you trouble. It is a really frustrating boss fight. However, after a while, he will shoot out a load of mines, and whenever he does shoot out a load of mines, he's going to punch the ground and get his fist stuck. Now, this is your cue to swing on up using a swingy swing power that is given to you, to grab hold of the punchy punch power, run up his arm, and do massive damage. And of course, he's very easily telegraphed what he's going to do, so it's very easy to figure out, okay, I need to jump now, okay, I need to hide in the crevice now, because otherwise I'm going to get hit. And also, from time to time, you can actually use his swipe attack as a way to get a little bit speed, because you'll either swipe from the left or right hand side, and if he swipes at you from the side that you're running from, you can actually use it like I did there in order to gain access of a speed boost. So you can actually use his attack as a speed boost. You know, just take the damage and boost your way across the finish line quicker, and that way you can sort of try and speed up the boss fight a little bit. But in terms of all you gotta do, we'll just run up his arm, punch him with the punchy punch power once you reach the end, and that's all there really is to it. You have to repeat this about 4 or 5 times, you know. And one thing I want to really say about this boss fight in particular, it's actually really climactic. I love this boss battle, it's really fitting for the end game. But one thing I really find weird about it is, it feels really janky. Like, compared to the rest of the game, this boss fight feels really unfinished, shall we say. Like, it needed more development time or something, you know, just needed a bit more polish. I don't know, something seems to be missing from this boss battle, that's all I can really say about it. Kind of reminds me of a lot of Sonic final bosses, because in a lot of final bosses in a lot of Sonic 3D games, the boss fights tend to be really unfinished and really glitchy in comparison to the rest of the game. Like, this is even true in like Sonic Generations, which is considered by many to be a really, really phenomenal game. Although, I say that, but a couple of Sonic games have pretty decent final bosses as well, so I don't know, I guess it's a case-by-case basis with that. Anyway, you just have to rinse and repeat the same thing multiple times until you get to the second portion of the second phase. Like, technically there's 4 phases, but I always consider the final part of the boss fight as phase 3, so... But yeah, if you're able to get up his arm quick enough, you'll be able to do more damage than if you take your time as well. So there's another incentive to be as quick as possible. Just go with the gotta go fast Sonic the Hedgehog mentality in this boss fight, ladies and gentlemen, and you will get through it just fine. And like I said, it just seems really clunky. I don't know, maybe it's because the animations look a little bit dodgy. This guy's character model is fugly as hell. I mean, look at that thing. When I said that's a face only a mother could love, that is legitimately a face only a mother could love, because look at it! It's terrifying! That's probably what they were going for, but I don't know, it just looks like when they were modeling it, to me it gives me the idea they were just chucking a mass of polygons together and seeing what came through. I don't know. But he doesn't... A lot of his phases do go on for a long time, however, I have noticed. Like, they go on way too much longer than they need to. Like, if it was up to me, I would have this second phase of the boss take 3 runs instead of 4 that it's taking me. You know, I would make sure that's how it was done, because, I don't know, 3 tends to be the magic number in these type of boss fights. At least that's what I seem to have found from, like, Nintendo games and whatnot, because with them, they tend to like the number 3. Like, boss usually takes either 1 hit or 3 hits from a lot of their games, so I don't know. But, yeah, as you start to hit him more and more as well, he will start getting quicker and a lot more aggressive as well. So you do need to be on your toes when you get to the final portion of his health bar, because he will just become ultra quick, he will try to fake you out, and he will hurt. So, just be a bit careful about that, just keep on your toes, what can I say? And eventually you'll be able to get through without too much of a problem. And also, if he does clip you into the air like that and he does 3-hit swipe attack, what I sort of recommend doing is, when you get to the highest point into the sky, hover. Because if you use your helicopter tail thing in the sky and hover, what will happen is sometimes his attacks may go underneath you and you may be safe, but it's the hardest to attack to avoid if he does it, so be a bit careful with that, what can I say? I have the power, apparently. So there we are, ladies and gentlemen. Now we are on the 3rd phase of the boss, which is technically the second part of the second phase, because it's still, I don't know, I don't really consider it as the 3rd phase, really. But what we have to do is, basically, we need to do platforming. We need to try and get... Camera. Okay, thank you, camera. That was a bit weird. What we need to do is we need to get to the top of the temple before each of the floors disappear. The floors disappear at a really rapid rate, so you do need to be really quick about this. You need to be good with your platforming. And this is actually a really, really difficult portion of the boss fight. Very, very, very easy to fail. So just keep at it as best you can. Just run as quick as physically possible. And you also have to deal with Reflux occasionally attacking you on the way up. He doesn't attack you too often, but when he does attack you, it will hurt, so just be careful. That's all I can really say. Like, by here, the only reason I managed to dodge him there is because I had a choppy chopper power. However, move all the way up to the top, grab hold of the rocket power up by here, and lay the beats down.
Rayman, it's me! Come on, hop on, we're heading for the Tetris.
Did you just say, hang on, we're heading to the Tetris? What? Okay. But anyway, with that, now it's time for the final phase of the final boss battle. Oh god, Reflux has wings. What can I say? Now, for the course of this boss battle, we're going to be repeating the shooting segment from the last part, if you remember correctly. And what we want to do is we want to aim our gun at the shield covering his weak point. Obviously, a very obvious weak point. You also chuck these red NG blasts at you from time to time, and what you need to do is quickly stop shooting the NG shield and start shooting the NG blasts so they don't hurt you. Very, very awkward boss fight. Very, very annoying if you don't, if you can't get used to the control mechanics. What can I say? However, in terms of the actual boss itself, it's not a bad boss battle. It's a really good way to end the game, actually. I really do think it's climactic. It really gives you that feel of, yeah, we're about to fight on Reflux, we're about to win, we're about to destroy his face in. So there is that. However, throughout this entire boss fight, we are going to be on this glow box flying machine. We will not be on the ground throughout any of this boss battle, so do not fret about that, ladies and gentlemen. And then once you got rid of his energy shield, he is going to try and do a Falcon Punch at you. When he does a Falcon Punch, what you have to do is quickly shoot the weak point before he clips you. If he hits you with a Falcon Punch, it will do massive damage. And, yeah. And after he's done with that, then he will spit out a load of hoodlums, a load of black lums. So then you go into this weird third-person... I don't know how to explain this. This is the only time in the game you have this sort of mechanic. And what you have to do is you have to use the aiming reticle that pops up on the floor to chuck these NG grenades of sorts, I suppose, to destroy as many hoodlums as possible. As you can tell, the more hoodlums get to his body, the more his health will regenerate. So you do need to take out as many hoodlums as possible. And this is really all there is to the boss fight. You just continue rinsing and repeating this until he goes down. Once all the hoodlums on the battlefield are back inside his body, sounds really weird to say, then you will repeat the same phase over and over again. It gets a little bit more tricky because he does get a little bit more aggressive, shall we say. But, that's all she wrote for the boss fight. It's pretty much easy peasy, lemon squeezy boss. Like, the only real issue you're going to have with this boss battle is aiming the gun, because the turret doesn't have an aiming reticle just like before. And for some reason, one thing I find weird about this gun turret is the gun turret in the previous mission. You could just hold down the X button and you will continuously shoot. In this boss fight, for some reason, they don't let you hold down the X button to shoot. You have to continuously tap it. And it drives me mad. It hurts my finger doing this one. That's why you'll find a lot of my shots are kind of inconsistent. Like, I'll have a pause every couple of shots, every now and then. So I don't know why they did that. I think it might have been a programming oversight or something, because I don't know, it bugs me. It really bugs me, the fact that in a previous level, well, the level before the previous level, when we first introduced the shooting mechanic, we just hold down the button, but now, oh no, we have to tap it. It's just like, what? No, you'd think they use the same coding, but apparently they don't use the same coding for this boss battle for the shooting section, and I don't know why. But anyway, as time goes on, whenever you get to this phase again as well, he will have more and more and more NG balls protecting the hoodlums, so you do need to be careful of these things. You can damage the NG balls if you chuck your NG grenade at them, but doing so is really difficult. You need to be pretty much pinpoint precise to get a good aim with that, so that's all I can really say. It's a bit of a lengthy boss fight, isn't it? Yeah, I know. It does drag. It does drag. That's probably my biggest issue with this Rayman game in particular. Too many parts of this game just drag on a lot longer than they need to, you know? Like, this should have been like a 10-minute, 5-minute boss at most in this phase, you know, like 1 or 2 minutes a phase. That's what it should have been, but they just feel like they're dragging it out. It just feels like padding to me. And I don't like it when games put needless padding by making things unnecessarily long to win, you know, to beat. It's just a minor annoyance. But of course, like I said, he does get quicker, and he does get more aggressive, so just keep at it. Eventually you will succeed. Your thumb will probably be killing you by the end of this boss battle. I am going to pre-warn you that. And of course, do not let him hit you with a Falcon Punch. Now, hitting his weak point when it is exposed is actually deceptively difficult, I will be perfectly honest. Like, because there's no aiming reticle sometimes, and for some reason the energy blasts you shoot out of the cannon, they aren't the most accurate thing in the world because they shoot in such a weird, not so much arc. Each bullet is weirdly spaced from each other, so it can be a little bit tricky in order to aim properly with it. But I digress. Let's just continue. Finish up Andre. Finish up Reflux once and for all. Of course, what I sort of recommend for this final sequence when you have like a couple of these guys left is just target whoever's closest to Reflux and try and deal with that. You know, try and take whoever's closest out first. Otherwise, you know, you may have to repeat the phase again. But do not fret, because this is the final phase of the boss now. Whenever there's not many left, it's basically guaranteed that after this phase, it will be the end game for the boss battle. I mean, look at this health bar, it's almost done. We've almost won, guys. Are you excited? I know I am. But yeah, I do like this boss battle. Apart from how long it takes, I am a really big fan of this fight. I do think it really is a fitting end to this game. It does feel end game territory. What can I say? Of course, he will also regenerate his shield if you don't shoot it enough within a set period of time. And if you damage the shield enough after a couple of phases, he will regenerate it a couple of times automatically as well. So just keep at it. Eventually he will go down. I assure you that much. Come on, it's almost down. Yes. Falcon fail. And there we go with that, ladies and gentlemen. Reflux is down and out. What can I say? And there's Andre for the taking. It's time to finish him off, shall we?
No! Don't touch me! No! No! Global! Help me! I'm scared! No!
When you're finished, just do your tongue move.
Yay me!
That was good. I thought my video editing software crashed then for a second. I was like, no! You can't do this to me!
Hey, we're back where we started. Looks like we get a full night's sleep after all. Hey, what's the matter, Glowbox?
It's Andy. I miss him.
You know, he's happier now. Look at the red lumps. How happy they seem.
I don't care. I want my Andy.
I'm not sure that's such a good idea. Besides, I wouldn't know how to do it.
You have to scare a red lump.
I hate to imagine what could possibly scare a lump.
Ha! It was Rayman's fault all along. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for Rayman 3 HD. An absolutely fantastic game on the Xbox. It's a fantastic game on the GameCube, fantastic game on the PS2. You get the gist. It's a fantastic game, and I would recommend anyone to play through it. The graphics still hold up surprisingly well today, I would say. And, I'd say the biggest issue with this game has to be a lot of sequences just drag on way too much longer than they need to. The game does feel like it's filled with padding just to make it seem longer. There's a lot of sequences that could just be shortened down. But in terms of the raw gameplay, I love the raw gameplay. I love the fact it's the way it is, you know. I love this game. I love the levels. I love the artwork. I love the soundtrack. And, I love the little nods and whatnot to Rayman 2, even though it still confuses the hell out of me. Why aren't any of those Rayman 2 characters in this game? Apart from the teensies, apart from the game. But I digress. Anyway, with that, that is it for this LP. So thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Don't be sheepish, people. Now catch you all again in another LP some other time. Bye!